Thank you to the witnesses for being with us today. I have actually worked for many corporations as an executive, so I'm very acquainted with performance awards that have an individual performance portion and a corporate performance portion. And so you've indicated already, Ms. Tait, that in the individual's contracts, their employment contracts, their performance awards are part of that. And so I would assume that that means if they perform this year, that they are going to receive that portion of the bonus, certainly. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then on the corporate portion, I would be surprised if you were 10 months into your fiscal year and you didn't have an idea of whether or not you were on track to meet your targets. So I guess the question would be, are you on track to meet your targets?
We are on track to meet most of our targets. I indicated that we are down in revenue.
Okay. And so that will mean that some portion of the corporate performance award should be awarded.
Some portion will be awarded, but some portion will not.
All right. And for your own compensation, you have a performance award that's not on the same formula, but it's closely linked, you said, to the performance of the corporation. So if the corporation is, good on some metrics, but not on all, then you would be somewhere in the range of $124,000 if you're at the lowest end of the salary spectrum, and $145,880 if you're at the top of your range. So where do you expect to be within that range?
I'm not sure where you came up with those numbers, but I assume it's from the public website?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, just to be clear, if the board of directors makes a recommendation based on our performance, they will do so to the government. That goes into Privy Council Office and PMO. What I end up with has really nothing to do. It has something to do with how I've performed, but there is a whole other pool of people, other GICs, other deputy ministers, and other factors that will play. So it's not predictable in that regard. It's not. I can say what the board might recommend, and what I hope they would recommend based on my performance, but it isn't really, at the end of the day, even their decision. It's the government's decision.
Very good. I have a question as well about the cuts to the employees. And so the original mandate for CBC was to provide Canadian content, especially across the country, even in areas that are rural and remote, and it wouldn't be economical normally to do that. And so with respect to the cuts that are being made, what % of those will impact on rural and remote communities?
As I said earlier, we are still very much in the planning process of determining that, and hopefully we will not have to implement all of the cuts that we projected. When we worked with our teams, we made it very clear that the filter number one for us was proximity. We know that is the force of the public broadcaster, is our proximity to our audiences, especially in the regions.